This talk is for our paper entitled Money Doesn't Buy You Happiness, Negative Consequences of Using the Freemium Model for Mental Health Apps. This work examines whether common freemium payment practices in popular mental health apps have negative outcomes for users based on an analysis of user reviews. Mental health apps have been increasing in popularity in the last few years, as mental health related diagnoses are also similarly increasing over time. Many people with diagnoses, but also without, that are in need of care, do not receive appropriate treatment for a variety of reasons like cost, availability, location. Kind of in the wake of that, mobile apps for mental health have proliferated. There's over 12,000 apps estimated to be in existence. There is a need and a want for alternatives to traditional treatment due to some of the treatment barriers that I talked about previously. Informed decisions around mental health apps, though, do require external information sources, and much work has focused on the treatment validity of such mental health apps, but there's little attention paid thus far to the payment strategies used by commercial apps for mental health. Many utilize what they call a freemium payment model, and this is common in like mobile games, and it combines a set of free with a set of paid features. And these companies are concerned with converting free users to paying subscribers. So freemium apps do a few things. They offer limited functionality, so you have to pay for more advanced features. They have limited duration free trials, after which you have no access to the app unless you pay. They also place limits on free versions. They also allow users to pay to improve the user experience. So our research asks two questions. What negative user outcomes can result from mental health apps that utilize such freemium payment models? And what subtypes of mental health apps use freemium strategies? And what features are most commonly charged for? So within mental health apps, there's kind of a subset of different apps. This image shows examples of each app type from left to right. So on the far left, you see a self-monitoring app where you can track and diagnose your moods or certain behaviors to see patterns over time. The second image, you see a meditation or mindfulness app. This has exercises addressing stress, anxiety. The next one shows a conversation with a chatbot, and this is a cognitive behavioral therapy app, which has techniques for reframing thoughts and other CBT techniques. And the final one, all the way to the right side, is an example of a social support app, which has forums that allow topical posts to express feelings, promote discussions, and mentoring. So on to the methods. So we started by identifying 41 apps that are highly downloaded. They have an average of 1 million downloads across the apps through a keyword search on the Google Play Store. So then we downloaded 41,000 reviews left by users on the App Store. There's a further breakdown of the inclusion and exclusion criteria that can be found in the full paper. So we looked at half of those 41,000 were positive or neutral reviews, so 3 to 5 stars, and then half were negative reviews where users rated 1 to 2 stars and left feedback. Then we developed a codebook around negative outcomes that resulted from the monetary aspects of the apps and the app use. And after developing a codebook, we coded all of the reviews for negative themes after a brief consensus. So to authenticate or confirm negative experiences outlined in user reviews, we attempted to confirm behaviors described through long-term use of each of the 41 apps. We tracked all of the features of each app as well as the pricing data, and then we also reviewed the Play Store descriptions provided by the app developers to determine features that were described versus features and how they actually played out in the apps. So 80% roughly of the apps utilized a freemium model. So these included things like restricting free access to a subset of basic features. So an app might offer free mood tracking and journaling, but require upgrades for like a diagnosis or treatment-based plan. They also limited duration of free features. So a chatbot might initially support therapeutic conversations, but then paywall such conversations after a week or so. So our thematic analysis of the 41,000 reviews yielded around 1,800 examples of negative outcomes, which was around 4% of the reviews. So we confirm prior work suggesting many users have positive experiences with these apps with our somewhat low number. However, these apps report over 43 million downloads, so although negative outcomes are relatively infrequent, there are still thousands of users experiencing such events. So in this figure, you see the percent of features that require payment. So on the x-axis, you have the feature. Y, you have the percentage of apps that require payment for that feature. So features shown to the left side are often free, whereas features to the right are usually paid. The figure shows that payment models are complex and unintuitive, with apps often offering a mix of free and premium payment models for a given feature, which also indicates a tendency for features supporting treatment to require payment. So this is kind of a breakdown of the codebook and the frequencies of the negative outcomes that we saw. So we found 3 factors that contribute to negative outcomes. The first is decisions for people in times of distress or crisis. So a user downloads an app, but then faces a paywall and has to decide what to do, and that accounted for 12% of the negative outcomes. The second is complicated app descriptions and charging policies that can lead to unexpected charges, which was 28% of the negative outcomes. And finally, limited offers that provide incomplete treatments unless users upgrade to a paid version, which accounts for 60%. So in red, you see the 2 most prevalent negative outcomes, which resulted from vague treatment descriptions and impaired app performance. This image breaks down complaints by app type. So CBT-based apps show a higher percent of challenges. And these are fairly complex apps that increase the likelihood of vague descriptions and restricted functions. Examples. So this first one, the app shows a complex decision during a potential crisis that suggests that paying for premium features will help the user take control of their emotional health even after the user states that their extreme depression is related to monetary factors. And the second one is withholding access to personal data and prevents non-paying users from accessing their own posts. This is an example of a vague description that we pulled from the Play Store. So this app outlines a list of features. It does not clearly indicate that some of them, like access to online text therapy and counseling with licensed therapists, are paid features, despite announcing that you can download 7 cups for free. So a quick overview. So charging practices in freemium mental health apps can lead to negative outcomes for a subset of users. Analysis of first-person experiences from user reviews indicates that these outcomes result from unclear descriptions of functionality and charging, partial diagnoses, treatments, and data, and impaired performance. So rather than optimizing interaction, these design practices sometimes increase negative outcomes. Which potential solutions? Regulators could encourage more accurate app descriptions. There could be a set of criteria for ethical freemium app design. So there's a bunch of organizations that already provide extensive expert reviews of such apps. However, these audits struggle to keep current with popular apps given the constant churn in the app marketplace. Thank you for watching.